Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. So this is an update to the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moise, which happened yesterday, the 7th of the 7th. Today is the 8th. This is an immediate update. This will answer all your questions that you have so far, like what happened inside his home, who else was there when the assassination took place, what exactly did they do to him, to his wife, and to whoever else was there, and also what happened to the people who actually carried out this assassination. With that said, let's go on. Haiti police so far have killed 4 mercenaries, and they said that these 4 mercenaries were behind the assassination of President Jovenel Moise Wednesday, and they also took 2 more into custody. So they didn't kill everybody. They killed 4, they took 2 into custody. As the impoverished and crisis-hit Caribbean nation was pitched into uncertainty is the headline. I will give you my source. If you listen, you will hear it. Police did not identify the suspects or say what their motives were for the gun attack on Moise and his wife, Martine, who survived at their private residence in the capital of Port of Prince early Wednesday. So there are a lot of people on this platform that are saying that his wife is now dead, SouFlo. She died from her injuries. That's false information. She did not die from her injuries. She's very much alive. Okay, we saw the video where she was airlifted to Florida, USA, and she is in a hospital here somewhere. Now, a lot of people are saying, why did y'all reveal her location? Because now they know that she is in Florida and can send hitmen after her. For one, she is not the target. For two, I'm absolutely sure that they don't have her where they publicized on the news that she would be. Police Chief Leon Charles said that there are still more members of that hit squad that are out there. It was more than 6 men that came. They've killed 4. They've captured 2. The rest are still at large. He said, as I speak, the police are engaged in a battle with these assailants. We are chasing them so that either in the exchange of fire they will be killed or we will capture them. The interim prime minister, whose name is Claude Joseph, this is the person who takes over after the assassination. He declared a national state of siege and he said that he was now in charge. Okay, there's a story behind all this. Pay attention. At the UN Security Council, members unanimously called for the perpetrators of the crime to be swiftly brought to justice and for all parties to remain calm, to exercise restraint, and avoid any act that could contribute to further destability or instability of Haiti. An emergency meeting on the crisis has been set for midday today. The airport was closed in Port of Prince, but witnesses said that the city was quiet, the streets were deserted, and there were no extra security forces on patrol. 4 mercenaries were killed. 2 were intercepted under our control. 3 policemen who have been taken hostage have been recovered, said Charles, the person who is now in charge. The attack took place about 1 a.m. For those of you who are wondering what time it happened, how it happened, because a lot of people are saying, well, where was his security guards? I guess they sold him out. The attack took place about 1 a.m. early morning at Moise's house. Shell casings could be seen on the street outside of the house as forensic experts combed the scene for evidence. A nearby car was peppered with bullet holes. So they fought their way in and they fought their way out. I guess his security forces were not ready for this kind of a fight. Magistrate Carl Henry Destin told the newspaper in France that the president's body had 12 bullet holes in it. from large caliber rifles and from a smaller 9mm weapon to the forehead, to the chest, to the hips, and to the abdomen. He said the president's office and bedroom were ransacked. We found him laying on his back in blue pants, a white shirt smeared with blood. His mouth was wide open. His left eye was gouged out. Mouse's wife, the first lady, was first treated at a local hospital, and then she was rushed by air ambulance to the Ryder Trauma Center in Miami. And like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure she is not there anymore. She was also surrounded by all kinds of security forces, so she is heavily guarded. Joseph said that she was out of danger, later adding that her situation medically is now stable. So for those of you who are saying she is dead, stop putting that on my comment section. Their daughter, Jo Marley, was in the home while the attack was taking place, but she ran and she hid in a bedroom in some secret compartment. He said that a maid and another domestic staff member had been tied up by the commandos, who allegedly shouted, "DEA operation! DEA operation!" as they were ransacking, bursting through the house and tearing up everything. May I mind you that DEA means Drug Enforcement Agency. Drugs. Okay? So obviously whoever was shouting DEA was doing that to throw everybody off, because I'm sure Mr. Moise had cameras in his residence. And if they're shouting DEA from the gate coming in, it would seem like a legal government operation and people would be standing down, letting them do their thing, right? DEA, Drug Enforcement, obviously to throw people off. So Joseph said that the president was assassinated at his home by foreigners who spoke both English and Spanish. This death will not go unpunished, he said. Haiti's ambassador to Washington, Bochit Edmond, also said that the killers were professional mercenaries that were disguised as Drug Enforcement Administration agents. The unpopular Moise had ruled Haiti, which is the poorest country in the Americas, by decree after legislative elections due in 2018 were delayed. In addition to the political chaos, kidnapping for ransom, gang activities have surged in recent months. The capital streets were at a standstill in the hours after the assassination, with just a handful of citizens peeking outside. We didn't expect it. This is like another earthquake in Haiti, said the mother of two who gave her name only as Bernadette, referring to the deadly 2010 earthquake that hit Haiti and left it devastated. "I can't explain it. I can't believe it," says 50-year-old Jacqueline. Haiti will observe 2 weeks of national mourning starting today, Thursday, the 8th. Joseph, who spoke by telephone to U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken Wednesday, has only been in his post for 3 months. Joseph is the one who took over after Moise is assassinated. He is now in power in Haiti. It's like the U.S. if the president should pass away, if Biden should pass away by any means right now, then Kamala Harris would become president of the United States of America until things work itself out to serve out the rest of that term into the next election. Now, Joseph is now in power, and he was on the phone with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken Wednesday. He has only been in his post for 3 months, but get this, He was actually due to step down within a few days after Moise named his replacement on Monday. So he wasn't even supposed to be there. A few more days, he would have been gone. And check this out. He's only been in his post for a few months because he was put there to replace someone who died from COVID. So the vice president had actually passed away from COVID, and Joseph replaced him. And now the president is dead and Joseph is in power. Like my Jamaican people would say, something in a something. Something not sound right. But maybe that's me being suspicious. As well as presidential, legislative, and local elections, Haiti was due to hold a constitutional referendum in September coming, after it was twice postponed due to the coronavirus. U.S. President Joe Biden has condemned the killing as horrific, and he said that Washington and the United States is ready to help Haiti in any way they can. Washington also called for Haiti to proceed with the elections. Washington is calling for Haiti to proceed with the elections, with the State Department spokesman saying a fair vote would facilitate a peaceful transfer of power to a newly elected president. So there wouldn't be a faction of people saying, oh, Joseph got in power because they assassinated Moise and then put him there. So the U.S. is saying, go ahead and have an election, because the people need to understand that an election is what put him, or whoever will be there. An election is what put them there, and not an assassination of their president. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, he called on Haitians to remain united and reject all violence. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell warned of risk of instability and a spiral of violence, governed by decree. Moise, who is now assassinated, a successful businessman, he burst onto the political stage in 2017, and he campaigned as a populist. He was sworn in February of 2017. The end date of his mandate, however, became the source of strife, of displeasure, a standoff, as Moise maintained that his term of office ran until February 7th of 2022. But others said, nope, it's time for you to go. Your term ended February 7th of 2021. Why are you trying to stay in here longer? It is unconstitutional. You have to go. He was basically saying, since you guys took a whole year to get me into my position, even though I won the election, then you need to give me my year back. Something like that. The disagreement is because Moise was elected in a 2015 vote, and that vote was cancelled because of fraud. And then he was re-elected in November of 2016. Without a parliament, the country fell further into crisis in 2020. Many people feared Haiti could tip further into violence. Much more worse. How worse can hell get? Asks Haiti expert Erwin Stotsky at the University of Miami. Haiti faces even more violence and death and failure as a domestic or democratic nation than ever before, which is hard to imagine given its recent and chaotic history. You just can't imagine anything getting any worse for Haiti. The killing comes days after Moise appointed Ariel Henry. Listen, the killing of Moise, this assassination, comes just a few days after Moise himself appointed Ariel Henry, a French-trained neurosurgeon, as Haiti's new prime minister. Henry, who Moise appointed, is 71 years old, and he is close to the opposition, but his appointment was not welcomed by the majority of opposition parties. Now, could you imagine being a outgoing official and you get to replace you with some with someone that you approve of? That's like saying the United States election, Donald Trump is president, he lost the election, but he will appoint the next president, or Joe Biden will appoint the next president when his time is up, or Andrew Holness will appoint the next prime minister of Jamaica when his time is up. Makes no sense. That's not a fair election. So there was a lot of foolishness going on behind the scenes. I'm no expert at trying to figure out all this. Some things are better off left unsaid. Those of you who are intelligent enough, you will take this information, you will read between the lines, and you will see clearly that something is in a something. I create the platform, you run with the discussions, and I read the comments and answer who I feel like. I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.